the top two teams in the NFC. You got the Eagles hosting the Bears. Both of them are 8-3. What do the Bears need to do Friday to prove that they're for real and win?
Yeah, listen, this Bears defense has been feasting on turnovers. They lead the league in taking the ball away. Well, guess what? They're going up against a Philadelphia Eagles team that doesn't really turn the ball over. And so I think people want to see, when it comes to the Bears, is it fool's gold? Can they actually play the Philadelphia Eagles straight up? I think the way the Philadelphia Eagles take care of the ball, if the Chicago Bears goes out there and play their style of ball with Caleb Williams playing the way that he's playing right now, the way they're able to run the football on offense, if they're able to get this win, I think it's going to get a lot of attention from a lot of people because of the way the Chicago Bears have been playing on defense.
Yeah, looking good on defense. Eagles have had their struggles on offense, but we'll see how this one plays out. Bears 8-3-1, so they got to get this win to stay ahead in that division. All right, Damian, thanks.
Bears have been beating, and everybody's been taking notice of that. So as we look at the Bears schedule right here, you had a game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, right, that you just won, 31-28. Okay? Outside of that, if you're the Chicago Bears, okay, what are we talking about here? Minnesota didn't have a winning record. The Giants didn't have a winning record. The Bengals didn't have a winning record. The Baltimore Ravens at the time didn't have a winning record, even though the Baltimore Ravens beat the Bears. New Orleans didn't have a winning record. The Washington Commanders didn't have a winning record. The Las Vegas Raiders didn't have a winning record. The Cowboys didn't have a winning record. That's who they beaten. So everybody's been saying about the Chicago Bears, okay, when are you going to start playing some winning teams? We're about to find out over the next 2 weeks. Both road games. They're at Philly and they're at Green Bay. And then after Cleveland, they got another game against Green Bay in Chicago. Then they're on the road against San Francisco, and then they're at home against Detroit. So we're going to find out what the Chicago Bears are made of. Because they could lose to any of these teams, even though we don't anticipate they'll lose to the Cleveland Browns in a home game in Chicago on December 14th. But you never know. It's all getting very, very interesting right now. This is the heart of the NFL season, where we all paying rapt attention. Caleb Williams, you see those numbers right there, 19 for 35, 239 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, not an interception against the Steelers. The brother can ball. We got to recognize that. I told y'all coming into this season, first game playing under Ben Johnson. That was his third head coach and his fourth offensive coordinator in his first 18 games of his career. So he was put at a decided disadvantage. That is no longer the case because Ben Johnson could coach. Ben Johnson is a Coach of the Year candidate. Mike Vrabel's probably in the lead to win Coach of the Year, but Ben Johnson is a Coach of the Year candidate based on what Chicago is doing right now. 11 games in, week 12 of the NFL season, they are sitting atop the NFC North, in position to have one of the top 4 seeds in the playoffs. Got to give credit where credit is due when it comes to that. Absolutely, without question. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. Just 888-623-3.
Eagles respectfully all year, especially not in the last 5 games. And then you've had one-score games with lesser talented, less physical, less, teams that have posed threats to you that we know the Philadelphia Eagles can really put you in submission and make you tap out. So if I'm being asked this question, I have extremely more faith in the Philadelphia Eagles, even given their woes, because I don't think a great Philadelphia team needs to beat a Chicago Bears team. A good Philadelphia team needs to beat them, but it needs to be great for the Chicago Bears performance to be had in order to even have a chance to come close to competing with a team like a Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, let me say this to you. I'm going to go with the Bears as the answer to this question on several fronts. Number one, I'm incredibly impressed with Ben Johnson. Props to Kevin Warren, the boss of the Chicago Bears, who I know very, very well. He's a friend. He obviously hired the right man for the job in Ben Johnson, who I think is an outstanding coach. Ryan Poles and the squad that he's assembled. You look at the talent on the Chicago Bears. I don't think we can ignore that, but it's really about Ben Johnson and it's really about Caleb Williams. It's not about their defense right now, which has some work to do. They're 27th in total defense, 27th in scoring defense, 28th in rushing defense, and 26th in red zone defense led by Dennis Allen. talent. That is not something to write home about. But they do have 24 takeaways, a plus 16 turnover margin, because of their defensive ranking. So I give them credit where credit is due in terms of being able to be opportunistic and take the football away. But why are the Chicago Bears in a situation where they're sitting atop the NFC North? It's for two reasons. Sure, you can point about teams that don't have winning records and what have you, and them taking advantage. But this is not what the Chicago Bears would have done in the past. They'd have lost to those teams. They're finding ways to win now. And then you got this kid in Caleb Williams. All of these questions about Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams or Jake May or whatever. Well, guess what? He's in the conversation now because they're winning football games. And by the way, about third time this year, he's thrown 3 touchdowns in a game. I'm looking at Caleb Williams right now, and I'm seeing what he's doing, and I've been incredibly impressed. 3rd game this season with at least 3 touchdown passes. 4th straight game without an interception. Ain't turning the football over, throwing touchdowns, running with the football, throwing the football in tight spots at times, and getting the job done. Being opportunistic. I'm looking at all of those things, and I'm saying, okay, we're going to find out about the Chicago Bears as the season wanes, because after Philly, you got 2 games against the Packers. You got 1 against San Francisco. You got a season finale at home versus the Detroit Lions, okay? You got all of that going on, a game you want to avenge the way they blew you out the 2nd game of the season. I get that part. And you got a game against the Browns, who are no slouches defensively. But I'm saying to you, at this particular moment in time, we got to stand up and give the Chicago Bears credit. Their franchise has been resurrected. They are relevant now. And that is not something we anticipated we were going to be saying this early about the Chicago Bears. They ain't a damn soul that thought they would be in first place in the NFC North right now.
And you mentioned those takeaway stats. They do get a boost today. Some news that came out yesterday after we were off air. Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon activated, off injured reserve. They're both questionable for this game. We'll see if they end up playing. All right, let's go around the horn here and give some game picks. RC, I'm going to you first. Who do you have winning?
I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles have to have a sense of urgency coming into this game, not only based on the way that they played last week and forfeiting a 21-0 lead to the Dallas Cowboys, but also seeing what the Dallas Cowboys did yesterday against the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a very winnable game for the Philadelphia Eagles, and a game that they must win if they want to be who they say they are. This is a defense that they can move the football on, and Jalen Hurts historically protects the ball better than most quarterbacks starting in this league right now. And what we've seen from this defense since acquiring Jalen Phillips and the pressure they could put on the quarterback, I think this will be a tough day for Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson to move the ball.
Cam?
Yeah, I second that. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles because one of the main things that the Chicago Bears have been undeniable at is, creating turnovers. Well, that's one of the plus things that we've been able to know, that Jalen Hurts does not turn the ball over. Not often. He does not put the ball in danger. He will rather not throw it rather than to throw it and put the ball in harm's way. So I'm going even more so to say, they will show signs in this game, and it will put them back on track where they need to be heading into, December.